Alright YouTube, it's me, King Nazru, with a review of Rosario Vampire Chapter 18 and 19. We start off with Mocha doing her usual activity of sucking Tsukune's blood, but this time the girls stop her and says that she needs to try to cut down on doing this because this could eventually kill Tsukune, and if that happens, Kurumu is going to try to kill her. So yeah, that's happening. But Tsukune says that he's okay with this because he can handle it, and he just wants to focus on distributing the paper. This leads the girls to believe that Tsukune is starting to become more adjusted at the school, and it's most likely due to the Witch Ranch incident. And when they distribute the papers, it seems to be going pretty well. Because the monsters find it pretty fascinating that about the things that humans do, and that's pretty interesting because the monsters seem to have a very low, if not antagonistic, opinion about humans. So Tsukune recaps that a month after Yukata's death, the people, including the two girls that Yukari saved at Witch Ranch, protested the construction of the factory, and the action to stop the construction passed. Also, Ruby is being taken care of by the school due to her injuries and emotional damage that she just lost her master, who she considered a mother. So we'll probably get back to her after she's dealt with her loss of Master Yukata. Tsukune feels that the experience showed him the importance of human and monster coexistence, because they can't afford to have a war between the two, otherwise it could cause a huge catastrophe. And in order to realize this, he needs to become stronger on his own without the aid of Mocha and the rest of the girls. Mocha, feeling that the newspaper club is doing so well, that they should celebrate with a party. Tsukune wonders where his Gin is, but Kurumu and Yukari don't want Gin around because he'll just act like a pervert. Yukari even going so far as to call him the enemy of all women. Yeah, I can see that. Then a strange girl approaches the gang. She has long purple hair, unusual clothes according to the school's code of uniform code. She's wearing a white shirt with blue sleeves and purple striped socks, and says that she finds it pretty weird that Tsukune and the gang, or pretty much any other people, know how to get along, which he just isn't capable of understanding. Then she approaches Tsukune and says, after staring for a little bit, says that she finds him to be a bit more attractive than she had originally expected to be, and asks for a paper, to which Tsukune obliges her. This leads the girls to wonder just who the heck is this person, and what's up with her uniform. I don't think the uniform is as I read the chapter, the uniform is not that big a deal, but the whole staring thing does play a part, as we'll soon see. Back in class, Miss Nekoname states that they have just entered the second semester, and they're going to select a class manager. They want to know if anybody would like to volunteer, or if they had any ideas who should be the class manager. And Mizure arrives at the class and says that she nominates Tsukune. Miss Nekoname is surprised by this because Mizure has not shown up for class or any of her other classes during the whole first semester. So everybody else thinks it's a good idea if Tsukune becomes class manager. Even though Tsukune says he doesn't want to be, but Miss Nekonami appoints him as class manager anyway. Muka says she's happy about it, but Tsukune says, like he said, he doesn't want to be it because he wants to focus on becoming stronger, and this will be a distraction. Not to mention, it would also expose the fact that he's a human if he got more attention. But Muka is clearly ignoring him because she talks about buying snacks for the party. And Tsukune starts to storm off because of how insensitive Muka's being. And while Tsukune is storming off, Mizure is from afar is watching. So while Tsukune is storming off, Mizure Shirayuki is decides to meet up with Tsukune. But Tsukune starts blaming Mizure for having her appoint him as class manager. But Mizure doesn't pay attention and says that she enjoys his paper, and tells him that her name is in fact Mizure Shirayuki. And says that she wants to spend a little time with him. Well, Muka, in a grocery store, wonders why Tsukune was mad at her. So clearly she wasn't paying attention when Tsukune was making his complaint about being class manager. But she ends up seeing Tsukune is in the store with being held by Mizure. Mizure says that she didn't go to her first semester classes because she couldn't get along with anybody, but says that she likes Tsukune and his papers, and because of it, she's a huge fan of his. Mizure starts to show Tsukune her scrapbook, which is full of romantic comments on his articles. So, yeah, this girl's a bit of a stalker. Says that she likes their articles because it's written from the perspective of a shy and weak person, which she can really relate to, and thinks that Tsukune is a loner just like her. And while this is all happening, Muka is stalking them. I mean, well, not stalking, she's just watching them from afar, and Mizure knows that she's doing that and calls her a stalker. You're a hypocrite! I'm sorry, there must be a huge hypocrite around here. Kurumu and Yukari, are outside, and they talk about how Mizure Shirayuki is flirting with Tsukune, and Yukari notes that during the first semester, there was this girl that froze a gym teacher for refusing to marry her, and they feel that this girl that froze the gym teacher for refusing to marry her was, in fact, Mizure. But Kurumu says not to worry about it because it's not really their problem, and that regardless, she's going to win Tsukune over by feeding him cookies filled with love potions. Filled with a love potion. Back to Mizure and Tsukune. Mizure spends time with Tsukune by skipping stones at a lake. Tsukune says that he wants to head back to the party, but Mizure tells him he can't go. Mizure knows, in fact, that Tsukune wants to head over to the party just to be with Mocha, and says that if he goes, she won't know what she's going to do. She might even resort to killing him. I mean, not killing him, killing Mocha. But she feels that it might already be too late, and Tsukune's just wondering what's that about. Uh, Back at the party, Mocha notices that Tsukune is late and is probably still angry at her. Then she hears the door open and thinks it's Tsukune, but it's in fact Mizure. So before any of you ask, no, Mizure does not have the ability to teleport. So, Mizure says that Mocha is a bit of an obstacle between her and Tsukune, and starts choking her. And says that she needs to kill her, so that Tsukune will belong to Mizure. Mocha hits Mizure, but it is in fact an ice clone, not the original Mizure. And no, none of you make Naruto jokes. I've told you I don't want to hear anything about Naruto. Okay, so after Mocha's being repeatedly choked by Mizure, Kurumu and Yukari hear the noise from outside the club, and while that's happening, Mizure prepares to stab Mocha. Sorry. Elsewhere, Mizure shows Tsukune that she is in fact a Yuki Onna, or a snow woman, which is a Japanese mythological being that during blizzards would appear in front of wandering men and would freeze them as their declaration of love. And would once the blizzard fades away, they would disappear with the men. So Mizure plans to do just exactly that. She plans to freeze Tsukune as a sign of her love, and says that it's destiny since they are both loners, and that together they'll be able to warm each other's hearts. Tsukune realizes that because of this predicament, he finally accepts that relying on the girls to help him, it was not that bad, because without the girls, Tsukune would have been dead a long time ago. Probably wouldn't have even made it past the first day. And he starts to go numb due to being frozen, but he's suddenly rescued by the girls. And Mizure wonders how could Mocha survive the ice clone, but Kurumu says that she defeated her by using her plate of cookies to smash it upon the head. And even rants that it's her fault that she wasn't able to give Tsukune the cookies. Mocha tries to rescue Tsukune, but Mizure summons a bunch of ice spears to block them. But fortunately, Tsukune was able to pull off Mocha's rosary when her breast collides with his face. So yeah, there's your bit of fan service. And this causes Mocha to transform into Inner Mocha. Mizure, like all the usual enemies, is startled by Inner Mocha's mass demonic power. Well, not demonic, vampiric power, and tries to attack Mocha regardless of this. But Mocha, as usual, defeats her enemy with a single kick, this time to the stomach. And Tsukune tries to apologize to Mocha for what he said about her, and he now realizes that it's okay to rely on her. But Mocha says that he doesn't need to apologize because he's in the right. And she finds it a bit admirable that Tsukune desires to become strong enough to defend himself, and that by doing this he'll be helping the other Mocha. Uh, and then we cut back to the ice rubble where Mizure fell into, and Mizure starts pulling herself out and says that she's surprised that Mocha is so strong, but regardless of this, she's going to kill her, and no matter what she does, she's never going to forgive her for taking Tsukune. So we cut to the next chapter, and Mizure is spotted by two soccer students, and she seems to be crying. And when these two guys come over to comfort her, she freezes them because she finds them annoying. So she's clearly not a people person, as she said repeatedly. Then she starts crying Tsukune's name, clearly distraught by the fact that Tsukune is not with her. And then the next day, Miss Nakaname asks Tsukune and Mocha to get Mizure because Mizure has been missing class again, and if she keeps this up, this might actually become a problem. And Tsukune and Mocha are a bit reluctant to do this because they just had a fight with Mizure yesterday, and Mizure hates Mocha for taking Tsukune away from her. And then we suddenly are met with a male teacher who wants to talk with Miss Nekonami about Mizure. And this male teacher is named Okoto Kotsuba. We'll just call him Kotsubo. And he's a gym teacher. I'm starting to feel like, so clearly this person might be important, since as Kurumu said, as Yukari said, there was a girl that froze a gym teacher, and this was probably the gym teacher Mizure froze last semester because he rejected her proposal of marriage. So Kotsubo says that Mizure almost killed two soccer players by freezing them. And she also apparently beat the students up. And he says that because of this and all the time she's missing class, he recommends that Mizure be expelled. Miss Nekonami is not entirely sure about this and wants Tsukune to handle the affair before it gets out of hand. Then we see that Mocha and Tsukune are met by Miss Kagome, the math teacher that had the S&M lessons with Tsukune back in the earlier chapters. She tells Tsukune and Mocha that they need to be cautious of Kotsubo, as he is known for having his way with little girls, even against their will. Now, before any of you guys say anything, come on, this is not our first encounter with pedophilia in this manga. And considering everything that's happened, we can pretty much surmise that pedophilia is the least of our problems in this manga. Where were we? Oh, yeah. So, Miss Kagome says that Kotsubo is really dangerous and they should probably stay away because of him trying to, molest little girls. And the gang, Tsukune and Mocha tell this to Kurumu and Yukari, and Yukari believes that Mizure froze the two students because Tsukune rejected her advances of love, and this leads Tsukune to feel that it's his fault, and he starts to wonder if is Mizure really a person who would kill innocent people. But Kotsubo starts talking to him and says that it was in fact Mizure because he found Mizure's scrapbook at the scene of the crime. And this leads Tsukune to deduce that Kotsubo is in fact the gym teacher who refused to marry Mizure and got frozen. Kotsubo confesses to this and says that he doesn't need to worry because Mizure is not only a burden to him and all the students, but a burden to him as well, Kotsubo, and that he's going to personally take care of Mizure. So he's planning to get her expelled. So Tsukune, hoping to prevent this, heads over to Mizure's apartment and tells Mizure that he's sorry for what happened yesterday, but Mizure still seems a little ticked as she summons ice shards to pierce through the door. And Tsukune tries to calm her down by saying that she needs to behave herself because she's being threatened with the expulsion for almost killing the boys and beating them up. But Mizure contradicts him by saying that she only froze them, but instantly after calming down and realizing they didn't do anything to her, she unfroze them. So there's no way that she could have beaten them up. And Tsukune starts to realize that this is totally different from the story that Kotsubo said. So he's wondering just how the heck could they gotten beaten up. And Mizure feels hurt that Tsukune would think that she would do something like that, and says that he's crossed the line with her. So she feels that Tsukune is just another person that can't understand her and runs away. So Tsukune tells Mocha what happened, and Kotsubo is overhearing this and is pretty displeased by this because this is probably ruining his plans. And so he tries to find Mizure, and he finds her at her usual place where she tries to get over her depression, which is apparently a cliff over a large body of sea. I mean, a large sea body. And Kosovo says that I knew I would find you here, and says that she's been causing a lot of trouble, and says that she best start behaving herself, which segues into him trying to rape her. Like I said, pedophilia is the least of the problems here. So, Mizure tries to defend herself by pushing Kosovo off the cliff. But Kosovo manages to cheat death by climbing the cliff with his tentacles, and reveals that Kosovo is in fact a kraken. Okay, fine, I'll do it. Release the kraken! Satisfied? So, Kosovo's a kraken, yeah, we already did the joke, and tries to drag Mizure down. Kosovo says that he's still peeved that Mizure tried freezing him last semester, and he's gonna get even with her. But Mizure says that she didn't mean to kill him; she was just trying to defend herself. So clearly, the whole marriage proposal thing was just a rumor that Kosovo clearly spread. And Kosovo says that since she loved him, or so she claimed, uh, he's entitled to do whatever he wants with her, including sex. And he doesn't want her to tell the whole school what's going on, so he's going to kill her now. Figures out that Kosovo framed her, and clearly she's a bad judge character, and because of this, she's going to be all alone up until the point that she's about to die. So Mizure can't hold her grip anymore and starts to plummet, but Tsukune manages to catch Mizure and says that he'll protect her. Kosovo feels that Tsukune is getting in the way and starts squeezing him with one of his tentacles, and does this until his neck breaks. Mocha, trying to save Tsukune's life, injects her blood into her, causing Tsukune to transform into a vampire temporarily, which gives Tsukune the strength to pull up Mizure and Kosovo. And when Kosovo tries to attack, Tsukune easily fends him off by pushing him into the water. So we cut to 2 weeks later, and Kosovo is in the hospital. I'm not sure if everybody knows about what's happened, but everything's resolved, and Mizure has her expulsion cancelled. And when she arrives at the school, we can see that she has her hair cut a bit. It's about up to neck length. And she starts saying hi to Tsukune, and because of her and what the gang did, she feels less burdened and can finally have some friends. And the chapter ends with Mizure comedically stalking Tsukune constantly. So yeah, this was a pretty good chapter. It's not only about a story about understanding people, but also has a bit of a mystery to it as well, which I like the stories when they have a bit of mystery to it. And as usual, it has another Greek mythological monster, which, as I said before, I'm a fan of Greek mythology. I do feel that the pedophilia thing despite me saying pedophilia in this manga is going to be the least of our problems, because there's going to be a lot more perverted things. As I said before, I'm already way up to the most current chapter, and like I said, this is the least of your concerns. There's going to be more perverted stuff than this. But regardless of that, that's still kind of off-putting for normal people. So next time we head into chapter 20, and let's find out how Mizure fits with the rest of the gang.